You need to know this. Do not give up on your legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. What's happening? Today's topic is reasons why you should not leave USA. Okay, welcome to the show. My name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America, helping you solve your immigration problem and maybe even preventing it from happening in the first place. All right, good afternoon. It is 12:10 p.m. Central. Sorry, just starting a bit later today because I just finished a team meeting. All right, today's topic, if you're just now joining, is reasons why you should not leave the United States. Of course, if you're already here. All right, so just some housekeeping things. If you're not familiar, we do offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. All right, so for 15 minutes, in the way, I know it's kind of strange. Why not charge for it? We used to, but we realize we really want to be able to give value to you, okay, share value. And we also receive calls where people have been stuck, not just because of USCIS or the government, but because their lawyer hasn't filed their case. So I'm not trying to overstep any attorney's toes, but some people, actually everyone that's called us about complaining about their current lawyers because they don't get a call back. They don't get an email back. And it's not like, oh, it's been like 2 days or something. Sometimes it's been like a month. And I'm saying, this is kind of strange, right? So I realize, it's better to offer free consultation strategy session for 15 minutes. So if you're interested in this, give us a call at 720-740-4247. But if you're a little shy, no problem. We do offer you the opportunity to answer a few questions on our website. You can go to greencardguys.com, answer a couple questions, and it'll allow you to actually self-schedule an appointment. So you don't even have to call us to schedule, okay? We make it as easy as possible, all right? Welcome to the show, greencardguys.tv. So you can go there if you want to, if you're near a computer, so you can go to YouTube, or I guess on your phone technically too. But then because sometimes I do share my screen on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see what else. Let's see. So here's the deal. If you're in America right now, all right, if you're in America and living in America, you probably, for the most part, a majority of y'all have overstayed your visa if you enter with a visa, right? So even if you did not enter with a visa and you somehow were able to miraculously come through the border without a visa, so we call it entry without inspection, EWI, all right, then you should not leave the United States. Of course, if you had a court case and you got an order of removal, legally, I'm supposed to tell you you have to leave by such and such date, and failure to leave by such and such date, well, this will happen, right? XYZ. So especially if you have a voluntary departure. So, but anyways, the reason I'm saying this because some people know already about this, right? That if you have unlawful presence and you overstay your visa and it's been more than 180 days, but you just step your foot, like you just put one foot in Mexico or Canada and you come right back, customs, they're not supposed to let you in because you don't have legal entry. And also or even if you did have a new visa available to you, you're already just triggered by the act of putting your foot out outside the United States. You triggered the 3-year bar. Now, if you stayed in the United States without status for more than 1 year, more than 365 days, and you step your foot out of the United States, then it triggers a 10-year bar. Okay, so consider like a restriction. Essentially, it's a very serious restriction. So unfortunately, some of y'all, or at least some of our past callers, have unfortunately already stepped out. And I understand some people have had to leave because maybe a family member is unfortunately passing away in the process, on the deathbed, or had to attend the funeral. I know it's a tough decision, but you can't come back in. So that's why you really have to know that. Some people think, oh, I'll just come back the way I came last time. Yeah, I'm sure things have changed back then, right? Or now. No, there's a border wall, I guess. Parts of it, there's a border wall. But I just want to do that and I hate that you would have to miss your family member's funeral or for whatever other reason. But legally, of course, on the forms and when you have the interview, if you do have an interview, we have to tell the truth. And the questions are related. Some questions are, when's the first time you came in the country? When's the next time? When did you leave? Did you ever leave? Did you come back in? Right? Things like that. And how did you come back in? Did you enter with a visa? So it's going to put you in a tough situation if you're going to lie. Because if you're lying, then that's going to definitely, absolutely require a waiver. All right. I'm already losing my voice. Already only been 6 minutes. So I'll answer some questions. Thanks for the questions in the comment section. You're always welcome to share your experience as well. But of course, somehow on TikTok, some of y'all ask some non-immigration related. If you're interested in how to become a lawyer also or change careers, let me know. Ask those questions. I'm happy to point you on the right direction for that as well. Or you're already a lawyer but want to become an immigration lawyer, happy to help. All right, more the merrier. We got a lot of people we got to help to get legal status. So yeah, the topic of the day is reasons why you should not leave USA. So that's the main one right there, the unlawful presence bar. All right, because if let's say you're already in the US, you entered illegally without papers, without a visa, sin papeles, and then you left, that triggers a bar, the normal bar, let's say a 10-year bar, and then you re-enter USA without papers again, without a visa, that triggers another bar. That's called the permanent bar. And the permanent bar is not actually permanent. It's kind of interesting how they do this. But basically, permanent bar meaning you literally have to wait 10 years, right? The other one, like the 10-year bar or the 3-year bar, you don't actually have to wait the full 10 or 3 years. You can file a waiver application. So a lot of people hear about the permanent bar and like, oh, shoot, I'm done. No, you just still have to wait the 10 years. But the fact, and then there's other scenarios like trying to figure out, well, can I apply for the waiver in the United States or can I apply for it outside the United States? In some scenarios, you can actually file it in the United States. Now, there is one called the 601A application, okay, where if you did have to leave the United States eventually for the visa interview, then you need to apply for the 601A. And by the way, you can't file it whenever you want to. You have to wait until your petition, I-130 or I-140, has been approved. And then you can file for the waiver, okay? There's a lot of different steps involved. It's not as simple as just file a waiver. There's a lot of nooks and crannies required that an attorney would know what to do. So if you're trying to do it on your own, more power to you. I get it. There's what's it called? I need to get a haircut. Let's see. I see some comments. I got a lot of advice regarding waivers, but that's not really a topic of the day. Reasons why you should not leave USA. Because other things like you might not even know you're eligible for a waiver, but you receive, here's a cautionary thing, a red flag, okay, in a sense that you really, really need to know this. I remember sometimes people call in and say, oh, I got the interview date, and we review the immigration history, the entry, exits, and we're like, oh, did you file a waiver? Did you do that? Because that's required for your situation, entry without inspection or something like that, And most people say, no, I didn't know. And this is typically before the pandemic, because before the pandemic, those interview dates were coming sooner than later. So there's less delay. But now that the pandemic and unfortunately the waiver case are taking a hell of a long time. Last week when I checked was 40 months on the processing time schedule. But again, it doesn't matter what it says on processing time. If you want to sue USCIS to get your decision sooner, you can. Okay. I know there's a class action lawsuit that there's literally a delay on that. But I think there's more delay on that because of class action, and the government wants to delay that. Otherwise, if they're going to have I don't know, 100 people as part of something, I don't know the exact number of people part of that class action, but it's going to require USCIS to make a decision on all of them, right? So they don't want to do that. So that's why for waiver cases, if you consider file a lawsuit, for us, we recommend do that individually. Pros and cons, I guess, but they filed it in January, I believe. It's still now almost end of July. And as far as I know, there's no movement on that case. Okay. So, anyways, I appreciate y'all. If you enjoy the way we share content, I know sometimes not as organized, but trust me, it's organized in my head. So some of it might not apply to you, but at some point you got some value from it. Please click the screen on TikTok, smash the hearts on Instagram and on YouTube and Facebook. You know what to do. Click the thumbs up. My marketing team tells me it's really helpful for us. I don't know any of the stuff, but I really appreciate it. I feel better about the likes to some extent because it makes me keep going to share free tips every day, Monday through Friday. Can't do on the weekends, folks. Got to focus on family on the weekends. Let's see here. So to the comments. Audio, I see you. Good morning. Good afternoon. Let's see. I'm not sure if Anu, that was a question for me. Let's see here. Kareem, your 601A process at NVC, you heard it might take 3 or 4 years. Yeah, unfortunately, can you switch to 601? And I get home waiting for my mom, too old. They want to see me and cannot wait 3 or 4 years. Man, yeah, Kareem, that's tough. Yeah, that's kind of similar to what I was talking about, I suppose, that, 601, yeah, you could, but then, yeah, it's just, let me see. Can I pull up on the timing here? Let me see if I can pull it up for y'all folks. In the meantime, I'll see if we can answer another question. Okay. Hey, thanks, Eating with Eka. Appreciate it. All right, I gotta scroll all the way up on. They should create another thing, like, because I'm swiveling to the scroll to the right, because it has people joining and the questions all together. They should separate that. So TikTok, if you're listening, that's my recommendation. All right, help out the live people that go live. Your family, MD Mir, your family came from Germany. You want to stay here permanently? Is it possible? Maybe. That's a pretty broad question, but if you can schedule an appointment, go to our website, greencardguys.com, or maybe download a guide on a website, maybe the family or any of the ones that apply to you. If you recently entered the US, MD, then maybe consider like an investor visa. Hopefully you haven't overstayed your visa yet. Sadiki, can I get my girlfriend from Norway to USA without marriage on visitor visa, then she stay here? We've had, I can't tell you specifically if, your significant other, your girlfriend can stay here, overstay, but overall, I can tell you we have a lot of clients who have overstayed their visa. Do I condone it? That's up to the government, right? But it is possible to obtain residency after overstaying. Okay, fortunately, you don't need a waiver. Now, keep in mind, Sadiki, you need to be a U.S. citizen so that it automatically waives the unlawful presence after overstaying, which hand in hand, it waives the requirement that you have to maintain your lawful status, meaning like visitor visa or student visa, something like that. So, which, let's see here. So hopefully that helps. I always have a lot more follow-up advice, but I'm trying to trim it down so I can answer a lot more questions. So sorry about that. Jay, you say your OPT is ending in 47 days. Oh, shoot. Well, hopefully you're eligible for STEM, but I think you would know that already. Why wouldn't you be on KOO, which is used by Indians? I have no idea. Is that another social media app? What are the reasons you should not leave the USA? Yeah. Yeah, so that's the main one, unlawful presence bar. And even though that's what I was looking up here on for Kareem's question. Okay, let me pull up the processing time schedule. Okay. Okay, so let me see if I can make the screen larger. So, folks, if you're on TikTok or Instagram, unfortunately, I can't share my screen on there. That'd be cool, but I can only share it on YouTube and Facebook. But in case you want to see what I'm sharing for Kareem's question and Leah, which goes to the topic of the day, essentially. Okay, so what we got here is the 601 instructions. So Kareem's question was, can I file for the 601 instead of the 601A? Because the 601A is taking like 3 to 4 years to process for decision, unfortunately. Now, keep in mind, if you file an application and it's been at least 12 months, we actually do provide a different service to file a mandamus lawsuit after 12 months, okay, for this kind of application, 601A. So just keep that in mind, Kareem, in case you're like, well, I want to you decide to just end up waiting. So, but if you decide to, and the reason why, again, here is 601, I'm going to drop down processing time schedule here, and let me click on Nebraska Service Center, because Kareem's asking, because it is a little bit less time, 21 months here. I somehow, I don't know if it's true, but another lawyer told me that they got the waiver approved in like 1 month. I'm not gonna say that's wrong, but I think just the average is not going to be 1 month. I think that attorney just got lucky, but honestly, it has nothing to do with who the lawyer is. It's more about how long it's going to take for you yourself, or you and your law firm, your lawyer, to prepare for the case, right? We actually had one we just filed for a RFE response, and everything was expedited because it was RFE on a waiver. So that's how we try to expedite. Anyway, so it shows 21 months here on 601, whereas if it was 601A, I'm clicking the drop-down menu here. Ooh, 44 months, 44 and a half. So it's like double the time. It's just crazy that any person in general has to, for a 601 form, have to wait at least almost 2 years. But then the 601A form have to be almost 4 years. So the reason I pulled up my the first page here on YouTube and Facebook is the instructions for the waiver application. What they say up top here is that note, use 601A to request provision waiver. So it doesn't say why you would file a 601A, but essentially, if you're stateside, if you currently in the United States, of course, USCIS, well, not of course, USCIS is actually trying to do you a favor, like don't file the wrong form. 601A is for you who are in the United States, specifically based on possible inadmissibility of unlawful presence. Whereas 601, yes, you could file 601 while you're in the United States, but for different reasons. It's more for streamlining workflow, which is surprising because just shared with you is 44 months for a waiver, 601A specific. But it does show here, if you're outside the US, you can file 601 based on unlawful presence. So that's why I just want to share this with y'all. Okay, so hopefully, Kareem, that helps you. Let's see. Kareem, I'll go back to your other questions later. Switch over to Insta real quick. Christian clothing, does fee waiver delay cases? What is that form? 912 form? I don't believe so. I haven't noticed that. We haven't had to file fee waiver in a while. But I haven't seen I don't recall a delay, but that was before pandemic, honestly. More of our experience with the fee waiver. Hopefully not, but one tip for you, Christian clothing, if you're going to file a fee waiver, you have to show proof of income. Can be tax return, W-2, and that's because they need to see income because they don't want to assume that, if someone just truthfully say, I have zero income. Like you gotta have something, right? So that kind of give you an idea. And make sure that that application is eligible for waiver. Not all applications eligible for a fee waiver. Rule X25, is there any path to green card for TPS status outside employer sponsorship or marriage to American? Asylum, but that would have been probably too late for you since you have TPS. Let's see what else. Well, yeah, if it's not the only other family members, if you have a family member, but then if you have a family member that's not a spouse and like let's say adult child, then that would be immediate relative category. Otherwise, if it's like a brother or sister or your own parent, then that would be a family preference category. Then you have to wait, and then not wait much longer for the petition to be approved, and then need to be eligible for waiver, which a parent counts. Okay, for unlawful presence waiver. U.S. citizen or resident. Okay. Yeah, Christian. Okay, for yourself and children. 751. I don't think, I could be wrong. Again, we don't normally have fee waiver clients in a while, but I don't recall that 751 is eligible for fee waiver. But I could be wrong. But check out the 912 instructions. Okay, let me see. But that usually, yeah, the 912 is the form for the fee waiver. You just go to the instructions page and it should tell you. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. Okay, it's included. Yeah, that's good. Wow, this seems to be a much longer list than I've seen before. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, good luck to you, Christian. All right. Let me switch over. Emily, you say, can I speak about the USCIS updated public charge rule? Yeah, I actually had that page up. I have so many tabs open. But I was going to record a video and I forgot, of course. Well, I didn't forget. I just ran out of time. Let me see. Okay, so the key thing here, okay, that I want to share with you, Emily and others that have this question. Let me share my screen. Okay, I know there's some confusion here. Let me make it a little larger. So this is important for folks who are filing 485 application. Before I get into the nitty-gritty of all this, so some context here of why there's a new rule and why there's a new couple questions here on the 485 related to public charge. In my opinion, if I think about politics here, is a lot in play. Is that, President Trump, it's already been, man, is it the third year of President Biden? Time flies. Time is flying by much more quickly with Biden, in my opinion, than Trump, because I'm not having to literally check the news outlet and my AILA organization every day, because things are not changing every day, fortunately, in that sense. But anyway, we do check pretty often about updates, of course. But anyway, back a while ago, under President Trump, he proposed a rule for public charge, and there was a separate form, the 944. Biden administration got rid of that. Fortunately, no more 944. That lasted like a couple months. It was a bunch of nonsense. It asked for like credit report and all that nonsense. So anyways, yeah, so I think what the Biden administration is trying to do is prevent another administration in the future from trying to create another form, or just in general be too restrictive in how they vet public charge inadmissibility. Okay, so it is good that's part of the form, but it can be a little confusing. So let me see if I can share some key items here. Let's see down below, which I actually just mentioned, had this talked about in our weekly news on Saturday on YouTube. Okay, so here it says Congress established that a non-citizen's application for visa, admission, or adjustment status can be denied if a person's found to be likely at any time to be a public charge. So that's been set in law for many, many years. but it's about how to vet that. And in my opinion, I don't think the government really did anything about it in the past. So a lot of y'all got by without having to provide any kind of information. So it says here, for DHS, a public charge inadmissibility determination is based on a non-citizen's likelihood of becoming primarily dependent on the government for subsistence, as demonstrated by either receipt of public cash assistance for income maintenance or long-term institutionalization at government expense. So basically, if the government has to pay you, give you some money to help you out, okay? So that's going to affect you. So this only applies when you're applying for the 485 application of the form. And so that's when you're getting for residency. Now, the other thing you need to know, just scrolling down, question number 61 in part 8. This question is asking whether the applicant is subject to the public charge ground of inadmissibility, which is an objective fact based on immigration status. It's not about discretion or anything like that. And it's not, they made it very clear in bold. It's not whether the applicant is likely at any time in the future to become a public charge. So, which is interesting, right? Because the law says if you can be denied if you're found to be likely at any time to be a public charge, but USCIS under Biden administration saying no, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be more objective. It is going to be objective completely, and but that's about this question, okay? Are you subject to a public charge? So the answer is yes. Okay, Emily, you asked this question. This answer is yes. If you're filing based on 485, so which is everyone, because this question I think, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but let me go back up. Yeah, it says here. Mostly everyone. Unless an applicant is specifically exempt. So there's a list for exemption here. What we'll do is we'll make sure we'll create a free guide for y'all who are interested in this, and you can check that out, okay? And hopefully we can have it ready by tomorrow or next day. I don't want my marketing team to get mad at me. But yeah, if you Google search this, you'll find it anyway. But there's an exemption list. But yeah, if you're the typical person, applying for adjustment based on marriage, you're going to have to check mark yes that you are subject to that inadmissibility ground. That doesn't mean that it's affecting you. Like, it doesn't mean that you are found to be a public charge. Okay. Let's see. So hopefully that helps you out, Emily. Okay. You're welcome, Christian. Yeah. What do I think about the UK travel visa? I don't know. Can you tell me more specific about that? Is there something new? Or you mean the ESTA? Is that what you mean? Do I process asylum cases? No, I don't. We do have some we're finishing up, but for any new applicants, we don't accept new asylum cases unless you already filed it and you're suffering a delay based on the interview, or not having an interview at all, or a decision, and you already had the interview but no decision. I know it's strange. You would think you get a decision like within a month or two, but no. Some people actually called our office, hired us because they've been waiting like several years. It's pretty ridiculous that people have had to wait this long. So it's very important that you take action, even if you have a delay on other cases. But we do have a referral for you, okay? If you're interested in an asylum case attorney to file your new asylum, or have a lawyer for your interview, okay? That's very important. We do have some referrals. Brian Manning is one of them. But anyone we always recommend, you always want to do your own due diligence. Check their Google reviews, check their website, anything you can that can help you with credibility in that sense, so you make yourself comfortable. But let's see here. What's up, Mr. Raymond? You're welcome to ask a question if you're still on. Sorry, I got a long list, so I'm all the way back on the TikTok feed right here. Can I talk about VAWA? Yeah, happy to do so. Maybe you can watch one of our other videos on it. I know because it's such a broad question, but yeah, I mean, VAWA. Quick tip on VAWA is that the abuse could have been the perpetrator. Could have been yes, it is a family member. It could be a child, like under 18, under 21, can be over 21, can be a spouse, and it can be by a parent, actually. So, and it doesn't matter what your age is as well. All right. And VAWA is also one that you don't have to leave the US. You can stay here in the meantime, because that's an exception to failure to maintain status for adjustment purposes, meaning the green card. Cheen, sorry if I mispronounced your name, can I sponsor your mom and sister with disability? Does that mean you have a disability, or I think what you're getting at is the affidavit of support. So you probably need a joint sponsor unless you're able to work remotely. If you're trying to say that they're disabled, then yeah, fortunately they don't ask about that. Can they get a visa at the same time? No, unfortunately not, because you say your sister, that's going to be an F4 category. So it's a different category than sponsoring your mom. But if you sponsor your mom and you are a U.S. citizen, then, and you're over 21, of course, then you can, that's immediate relative, meaning, quote unquote, there's no wait time. The visa is immediately available. Of course, you got to go through the normal processing times. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Legend David Sharp. You're talking about the grace periods, I think. Your advance parole based on marriage approved. Can I travel back to your home country for 2 months? Yeah, if you have advance parole and you don't have any criminal issues. If you're arrested or you got a conviction, then you need to speak with a immigration attorney directly, okay? Like a video call, not on TikTok, but just to make sure you know, okay? That was for Noaga. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all I'm sorry if I mispronounce anyone's name. Just trying to run through this quickly. I'm trying to be respectful. Risby, what if you leave with DACA due to husband getting deported? You mean you have DACA, I guess? Yeah, then you're going to trigger. If you don't have advance parole and you want to live with your husband outside the U.S., then, because advance parole is only going to be limited time period. So just keep that in mind. The legend David Sharp, your tag is on. So asylum case is very hard. Get a Mexican citizenship and a TN visa for you. Oh yeah, if you can become a U.S. citizen, a Mexican citizen, which I wonder. I need to ask my team members how difficult that is. Mr. Raymond, you have a green card and it's been renewed for 5 years. When do you get citizenship? You're on a K2. You're on a K2? Then how do you? Well, you have a green card, so if it's based on marriage and you're still married to that person, then you can apply to become a citizen after 3 years. Okay, 3 years, folks. But you also can. Sorry, I was looking at another comment. What's it called? You also can file your application 30 days before. I'm sorry, 90 days before. I was going to say 3 months. 90 days before, okay? Before that time period. Let's see. Okay, I don't know why. In general, I appreciate when other people are giving each other information, but just be mindful. I don't know if the other person is a lawyer, but I do welcome you share your experiences. But yeah, because we don't know, Mr. Raymond, if you got it through marriage or not. It sounds like you did. Okay, so just be careful on other people sharing advice, but I appreciate it when you do help out. Thank you. You have, Mr. M, you have the 681 renewed for 5 years. Well, that's interesting. It's really supposed to be for 10 years. So, yeah. Does that mean you already have it approved or you just filed it? RS3, how long does a K1 visa take at the moment? I submitted back in March. If you mean back like petition wise, I can look that up right now. But in general, I just recommend getting married. And you actually can do that in Utah, Utah, remotely. You don't even have to go The U.S. citizen doesn't even have to go to Utah to pick up that marriage license, and they don't require any residency there, so it's pretty amazing. Let's see. But yeah, let me just check processing time real quick. I'd love to do that. 129F. To be honest, I wish I had a better idea, like how long cases are taking, but I can only tell you what it just shows. I need to get some water. With California Service Center, at least RS3, it's taking 16 and a half months. Okay, so I'll just pick one other service center in Nebraska, see what difference is there. That one says 4.5 months, right? So it's a lot better. But unfortunately, folks, you don't get to choose which service center you want. Okay, Potomac Service Center is 19 months. Let me check Texas Service Center. That's 16 and a half. So if you get lucky, you get Nebraska Service Center. Yeah, more power to you. But I mean, that's like pre-pandemic time experience processing time for fiance waiver, fiance application. So just keep in mind, I recommend if you're able to get married and, aside from any family cultural requirements, whatnot, I do recommend you try to get married through Utah County. Okay. That's going to make the process a lot faster. Or I'll just caution, maybe not a lot, but faster. By the way, folks, it's a good time for me to ask, if you're just now joining, welcome. We do share content, free tips, and I try to start the live show with the topic of the day or question of the day and go to answer questions. So you're welcome to drop a question in the comment section or share your experience. Please keep in mind, if I do miss your question because I gotta hop off in like 5 minutes or so, then please give us a call. Okay, the phone number, because I have to say it out loud because what's it called? I'm not allowed to post it on TikTok apparently. But the number is 720-740-4247. But in case you're a little bit shy, that's okay. You won't be able to talk to me in the first phone call anyway. It's going to be with a CARES team specialist. They're not lawyers, but they do try to collect some information so that they can make the consultation more succinct for you and save you some time. But you can go to our website. Okay, if you're a little shy to call us, go to greencardguys.com and click on contact page so you can answer a few questions. And it does allow you to go ahead and self-schedule an appointment. Now, our CARES team member will call you. We'll try to call you within 24 hours of business day, and they try to do their best. We just get a lot of inquiries, which we're very fortunate to help people, fulfilling our mission to help people live and work in America legally. But keep in mind, in some scenarios, we do cancel the free strategy session because maybe our team member can email you a free guide and you guys take a look at that. Maybe that's good enough. Or otherwise, maybe it's just a case that we don't accept, like asylum. We refer you to other lawyers. All right. Sweet Mo, I'm back to you. I won't forget you. But to be honest, I don't know why. I see your question. I don't know why the algorithm doesn't work as well on Instagram as TikTok. But of course, I'm going to answer your question. You got RFE on 864. What kind of advice, what kind of evidence would you submit? He's fully retired from military. You meet the property guy. Well, so it doesn't sound like you're the sponsor. You sound like the beneficiary. You say he. Who's he? Like is that a family member? But generally, it should be on there, the first or second page, what exactly you need to submit. So, I see he's fully retired. So your sponsor is fully retired. Maybe assets. Okay. It might be a difficult question. Oh, your husband. Okay. Assets. And it's going to be one of those questions that some spouses don't want to share everything. But if you're retired, then yeah, military. The good thing is on the 864, it's going to be the left column. Well, no, wait, 1 second. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's like active or reserve. So if he's retired, unfortunately, that might not be good enough. Let me pull up on the 864. Okay. By the way, folks, if you're wondering what the poverty guidelines are for, what's the purpose of it, if you're applying for adjustment status to family-based, your sponsor has to meet the poverty guidelines, which one example is default is rely on 125% of the HHS guidelines, which for household size of 2 is 24,650. Which this goes to that what I mentioned earlier about public charge. They want to make sure that you're the beneficiary of the foreign national not likely to become a public charge because you meet the guidelines here. So if it was for Sweet Mo, it is 100% of poverty guidelines if the sponsor is active duty. Okay, so sorry about that. Household size is 6. Including you and your sponsor and your children, okay, then it's 40, and any dependent. And dependent meaning anyone that's on his tax return. Okay, if you got someone hanging out at the house, you don't, whether you want them in the house or not, but they're not on your spouse's tax return, then they don't count as a dependent. At least, I mean, the government's kind of trying to tell you to include everyone, but we rely on whoever's on a tax return. Okay. 40,280. I'm sorry, that's for 100% if he was active duty. 50,350. Okay, so that's the amount, and since it is based on spouse, any shortfall difference, then you have to do it based on times 3. So this is a bit more into legal advice. You definitely need to speak with a lawyer about it. Happy to help you on that sense, but it has to be 50,350. Any shortfall, so I'm just going to assume 0, then times 3, so it's 150,000 potentially. So maybe his assets, like a house or something where you live, the equity. Okay, he might not own it 100%. Maybe still have to pay a mortgage. I don't know, but it's based on equity. Okay, so that was the only question on Instagram. Man, Meta has to figure it out. Okay. Emily on YouTube. Why is it that U.S. citizens 18-year-old can sponsor us? I know, it's weird. It's totally weird. Also that, like, even if it was a step parent. So Emily asked, why is it that a U.S. citizen 18-year-old can sponsor a spouse and a child, but not a parent until they're 21? That rule is weird, but it's a rule. Yeah, I agree. It is weird. There's even a rule like you can sponsor a stepchild, but the marriage, the second marriage or third marriage, has to have occurred before the child turned 18. But you don't have to be in a hurry to sponsor until, latest cutoff to sponsor a child is before they're 21. So we do have some calls. They're like, yeah, I got married before he or she turned 18. I'm like, yeah, you're still good. Still got the green light because you can still sponsor because your child's like 20. So, so hopefully that gave you an idea. Razu, welcome. I think I recognize your name. Welcome back. Can someone file joint tax without marriage yet? I think so. But I'm not a tax person, okay? Because there is a part that says head of household. I just don't recommend that, though. I see what you're trying to do. Maybe try and build up the evidence together. But maybe there's a specific reason you're waiting on getting married. I don't know. John Millian. I'm good. How are you? Thank you for asking. You have a question for one of your family members based in Jamaica. Visa was revoked 10 years ago. He wants to know what type of waiver do we need so we can get it going. Any advice, I guess? Yeah, so you have to generally, well, you said 10 years ago, so maybe that time period already passed. But generally, if it was before the 10 years, you have to file the application called permission to re-enter the U.S. That's an I-212. Okay, but that's only one of them. Maybe he received some letter if he's applied before, some letter that says you have to apply a 601. I'm not sure. It just depends on what he gets. Try to build evidence so you don't have to do it through taxes if a tax person tells you can't, but maybe a lease together if your significant other has has some kind of ID because probably the department or whoever management, they probably want some kind of form of identification. Some are pickier than others. Some want to see a social security number. That's kind of nuts, I think. I don't even know if that's allowed by law. But I don't practice landlord tenant, so I'm not sure. But yeah, you can do it other ways. I think the key thing right now, Raizu, is the joint bank account. Okay, you wanna use it. You don't have to use it for literally everything, but at least maybe for like your main expenses. If you only use it for gas, then I don't know. If a USCIS officer is going to be very specific and look at it, if I were a USCIS officer, I actually think I would be a bad officer because I always think both sides, right? Bad officer for immigrants, like, not, I don't want to deny anyone, but I'm just saying, like, I would scrutinize and say, like, oh, I see you only use this for gas. Do you do other things together? Like, do you go out to eat? Do you cook at home? Like, you probably wouldn't like me as a USCIS officer. I think that's why a lot of people like our prep sessions before the interview. Because we really drill it down. So of course, Raizu, good luck. But joint bank account is probably sufficient in that sense. But again, if y'all are traveling, I know a lot of people are traveling these days, especially this summer. If you have kids, trying to time it right. But if you travel together, flight itineraries, hotel bookings, confirmation, things like that. Okay, and sometimes it'll ask for add a traveler. I would do that so that, or even Airbnb, I think, has that option. Then I would do that so that you could screenshot it or save as PDF. Okay, hopefully that helps you. Pro Bono Legal, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Happy to help anyone. Okay, back on TikTok. Tronell, you got an RFE on 864. Is that the same question as earlier? Seems okay. It's kind of similar. That would be on again. That'd be on probably page 1 or page 2 of the RFE, because if you got an RFE on an A64, usually they're pretty specific. Okay, right, Ryu. Okay, glad to hear. Oh, expo tickets. Yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, the wedding expo tickets. Yeah, that anything wedding related, like save the date, things like that. Have a nice day. Thank you. You're welcome. And hit us up on the Review Ting Law. If you got good feedback here, you got some answers, you got some value from, please go to reviewtinglaw.com. Okay, I greatly appreciate it. Alrighty, let's see. So next question here. Okay, I said I'll be on 5 minutes 5 minutes ago. Maybe 5 more minutes. Okay, let's see. Okay, how long does it actually take to receive green card after it's approved? Typically about 30 days. But if it's hitting past 30 days, then see if you can submit an inquiry on USCIS.gov, because maybe you just didn't hit the workflow. We had that happen to one client. We were able to submit inquiry, and they said, "Okay, oops." Basically, they said, "Oops," something like that, and they're gonna put it in the workflow. So, but usually 30 days. I've had some clients getting like a couple days. It's pretty sometimes fast. Let's see here. Sorry, I don't mean to skip around, but I have a lot of questions on TikTok. Some of y'all like just copy and paste the questions, or something's going on here. Maybe this is like deja vu, but okay, I think, wow, y'all have a lot of questions. I'm so sorry I can't get all of them realistically. Really appreciate it though. Henny, you want to know about EB2 and IW? A quick thing about that is that you have to have 10 years experience in that field, okay? And there's other questions that we would ask you, but you have to go to our YouTube channel, greencardguys.tv, and I'll record another video more specific about that, about the requirements and some key things to look at. So, because that's a big topic, okay? But wish you the best on that. So stay tuned. I'll try to Yusuf, I'll get to you. Sorry, I got a lot of questions here as well. If you just joined, but if I do consular process, would you have to leave for the interview? Yes, but if you need to apply, you need to probably apply for waiver since it sounds like you're in the US right now. Okay. Okay. So yeah, Brown Frenchie. Oh, good name. So yeah, we if you haven't filed your case yet, welcome to contact us. All right. Okay. Hector, your mom had voluntary departure in 2011. Now she's not able to get back. What can you do? So, Hector, do you have legal status? I hope so. Um, let's see here. I don't know why. That's not cool, man. The legend. This other guy is sharing other YouTube channels. That's kind of strange. Okay. Okay, Hector. Yeah. But a lot of y'all have questions that someone's just trying to answer other questions. So, yeah, that's a little strange. How long? My husband petitioned for me in December 2012. Okay, and you received your EAD. We just realized that the one online he put your name on the signature part instead of his. Please, what can we do? Um, it depends. Did the card go in his name or your name? Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, you definitely wanna file a new I-130 updated one. Okay, updated one. So you gotta update USCIS wherever your case file is located. Okay, Yusuf, I will go back up. Your brother's EAD card was produced June 5th, 2023. Okay, so last month has not been mailed to him. Why? I have no idea why. Inefficiency? I don't know. But you would just submit an inquiry. Okay, if you can, hopefully. I wish I knew I wish I knew the reasons why, but unfortunately, it's usually inefficiency or it just they're slow. Okay, now I'm really not starting to like this other person sharing it supposed advice on my TikTok channel. So please be careful when you're getting advice from other people who's not the person going live. Hi, Steph. Nice to see you. Let's see here. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just kind of have to go backwards because. How do you file updated I-130? I don't know if you can do it online, but since you already have one, so I would just suggest mailing it in, if anything, if you can't do it online. Um, Mafi, answer your question. I mean, I'm trying to. There's a lot of questions here. Mafi had an asylum interview a year before in April, but you haven't heard anything. So, Mafi, that's a situation we can file a mandamus lawsuit. Okay, so it's been over a year. We can sue the government and get you a decision. Typically, in this situation, we can get you a decision in about 1 to 2 months. Actually, I mean, I can't promise that, but that's on average usually for asylum decision. Okay, on average. Oh, okay. Thank you, Legend. Appreciate that. Um, oh, you have a YouTube channel too? Okay, I'll check that out, boss. Oh, okay. Oh, let me look that up. Let me type that in so I don't forget. I think we need to connect then. All right. All right, David Sharp, let's connect. Yeah, we're just trying to solve problems. Yep, just share solutions. Okay, I'm gonna just go back up. Can we file? Can you file without the help of a lawyer for forms I-130 and 601? More so for I-130, you can file your own. 601, I definitely recommend hiring a lawyer. It can get expensive, I get it, but like, man, I've seen people file 601, 601A, and especially now pandemic, it takes so freaking long, 22 to 44 months. You pay that almost $1,000 fee, you wait those amount of months, and then you get denied, right? So like, if you want, we believe we're pretty good at waivers, fortunately. Knock on wood, only had one denied, and that's because the spouse didn't want to cooperate anymore. So you get my drift on that one. But we're really, and that's because I believe the way we train the team, we're very diligent. We have resources to help clients write their own letter. We don't write the letter for you. I mean, most lawyers shouldn't do that. If they do, then that's kind of strange, but because we don't know your life circumstances. So we have a lot of guidelines on helping you on that. Spacia lugs, if you're in removal proceedings, can you do adjustment status? So you can do it through the court, through a judge, but these days in 2023, we're trying to get cases dismissed, okay, through the court, especially if it's based on marriage, even if it's based on resident, permanent resident, or a U.S. citizen. Of course, better with a U.S. citizen. But if your spouse is not a U.S. citizen, I wouldn't wait. I would just go ahead and try to get it dismissed. Okay. Family Island. You have a TikTok name that seems like you got your own channel as well. All right, so let's check it out. You have a 17-year-old son who has a 10-year green card. When can he apply for citizenship? So should be eligible now. Okay, yeah, you don't have to wait. Don't have to wait until you're an adult per se. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said already. Yeah, so should be eligible now. I mean, I need to know a little more facts, but Rubio 601A. Ooh, you filed in March 2020, transferred to other offices yesterday. Please help. So yeah, quick thing about transfer notices on a 601A. We've known a lot of people call in to us, say, what does this mean? After a lot of people got it like in May or June, but it doesn't mean much. I mean, it doesn't mean that your case is going to be processed for decision next month or something, because the people that called us in May about this question on the first round of these transfer notice, they still haven't received a decision. So it's very unfortunate. It's given people a misunderstanding, I guess you can say, thinking that their case is going to be approved soon, but not necessarily. So Rubio, hopefully you get a decision soon, but if it's still been at least 3 months, give us a call and you can consider filing mandamus lawsuit. Or I mean, you can call us now or later, okay? Jeff, you asked your question many times. Sorry, boss. There's just so many questions. Just trying, buddy. The best way, folks, is to give us a call. TikTok is very fast. All this social media stuff is very fast. So if I miss your question and you want your question answered, you got to join me live again tomorrow, or give us a call or answer a few questions on our forum. That's as simple as that. But I see unfortunately found it. I think your wife went back to China and surrendered. I think that's what it means. Surrender her green card. Can you reapply for her? Yeah. But why did she surrender her green card? Was she outside US too long? I'm assuming that's why. Yeah, you can. If she like maybe tried to re-enter the U.S. and file, and the customs asked her to sign a 407 form, if for other folks, I recommend not, if in the future and you're watching this, you're outside the U.S. and you come in, I recommend not signing that form unless you need to go back to your country. But if you want to fight it, I would fight it through the immigration court. because officially you're making it too easy if you sign that 407 form. 407 is to write in, like sign off that you're abandoning your resident status. So some people, especially when people are from communist countries, especially, they, tend to be more, I guess, like not receptive, but like stand down to authority. America, we're all about standing up for our rights. So, you don't have to sign that form. So yeah, you can, if that was the case, like if your wife did sign that form, then that's officially like, yeah, abandon your status, so you can reapply for her. Okay. Sorry that you and her have to go through that. But I know a lot of people called in and been waiting a long time trying to get back in. Sanye N400 got denied. Oops. I got cut off on Instagram. N400 got denied after second interview. Is that normal? It's not necessarily, because first interview or second interview, I don't know your situation, but people do get denied, but maybe it has to do with crimes, or what is a good moral character period, probation period, overlap with GMC, good moral character period? What is the reason? Ana Rodriguez, as a DACA recipient, can I file for LLC? At least in Texas, yes, because they don't ask for legal status. But other states might ask for legal status. But I'm not aware. No one's ever told me that that's been an issue for anyone else. So, and you don't actually, most states, you don't have to be a resident, okay, in that state to file for your company in a different state. So, because Texas doesn't ask that as well. Pretty D Anna, you're doing your biometric TPS, but your e-progress for EAD is still on receive application. Yeah, this whole e-progress thing is still fairly new. I think it's been a couple weeks, but even if it says 2 weeks, I mean, I wouldn't hold your tongue on that one. Essentially, it could take longer. I mean, some people have said, yeah, like it keeps updating. It's kind of like the processing times in general. They like do something in the background internally, and they just change it without any reason. So that's why I wouldn't put your money on that one. Jorge Sanchez, your parents crossed illegally in 96, 17 years old and underage. Is there anything you can do? Yeah, possibly. You can petition for them. The only problem is the waiver, right? So unfortunately, 601A waiver for family unity waiver, which is really the topic of the day. Unfortunately, even minor or adult children do not count as a qualifying relative. It has to be a parent or spouse who's a qualifying relative of the applicant. So Jorge, if you're still on, then it'd be your grandparents. That could be, if they're still alive, to be the qualifying relative. Okay, hopefully that helps. Sorry, going through all this. Samo, can you travel overseas while waiting for 751? Yes, you can. You can travel while waiting for 7-1, but the best thing is to ask for the USC has just changed it again recently on how it's supposed to be more efficient to request a stamp on your passport. Okay. Typically, clients ask us to help out with that when the receipt notice, the extension date on that already expired. But since 751 auto extension is 48 months right now, I don't know the one that you have, maybe could have been 36 months. But you want to try to get that stamp. It's just always easier for travel purposes to hold on to it, and also for what's it called? For the ticket agent, or what do you call it? Before you get on the plane. Okay, when you share it with them. Baby Black, your marriage based in Baltimore has been 24 months, but online keeps saying it's going to take longer. Yeah, Baltimore is one of those that it took so long. I think I recall it was like showing 50 to 60 months before, like last year. But your congressman, Steny Hoyer, don't ask me how I remember this stuff, but Steny Hoyer like sent a letter from Congress along with other representatives saying, Baltimore, get your ass together. Pick it up. I don't even know if I said that phrase right. Pick up the pace, basically. Daddy says visa revoked. Oh, maybe I missed your other question. Someone named O said we applied marriage green card in 2021 for 6 months. Has been saying actively reviewing. Will it end soon? I have no idea. Probably not, to be honest. At this point, 2021, assuming it's been at least a year and a half to 2 years, it's probably a good idea to sue the government. If they haven't sent you an RFE or anything, then probably want to sue the USCIS. Okay, we're happy to help, but because your inquiry date when you go to try to submit an inquiry, it might. We've had some case in 2021 where it's still kind of blocked. Not kind of, it is blocked. It won't let us submit inquiry still, so it's kind of ridiculous. All right, YouTube. I don't see any questions on there right now. Rob Love. Oh, God. Okay, I'm not gonna say that one out loud. You guys are funny. Can you bring your parents? Yeah, you can in general, as long as you got the. If you're a citizen. Okay. Ryan in Denver, you have an appointment with an immigration lawyer today using MetLife. Okay, we actually accept MetLife as well, so maybe we can help out. But if you already got someone, no problem. You say, how long after marriage can I take for someone to move here and work? So are you saying, I'm assuming your significant other is abroad, so essentially, man, it's gonna take at least a year and a half if you're going through what we call consular processing and your spouse is abroad. But again, I mentioned earlier we do have a lot of clients that overstay their visa, but I would only suggest that that's okay if you're Ryan in Denver is or if you're a U.S. citizen, okay, because that would waive unlawful presence in the future and waive failure to maintain status. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I think I answered most of them. I know I'm probably missing a couple. Sorry, the names are kind of. Aman, why was my 765 closed and then reopened? Reason was the reason that I received benefits, but I didn't. I have no idea. But it's reopened, so that's good. Can you travel outside the country without the green card, but with the travel document? Yeah, you can. Yeah, but be mindful. I think I answered a question similar to this. Be mindful if you have arrest or conviction, you want to talk to Immigration Lawyer 101. Can undocumented fly within U.S. like Philly to Hawaii with valid ID or big risk? So it's not the continental. It's obviously part of the United States, but you're technically going outside the continent. So I don't. The thing is, because if you don't have status in America, right, undocumented, I would think that even though it's the U.S., you have to show your passport at some point. But maybe I'm wrong. I traveled to Hawaii a couple years ago, and I can't remember. I have to ask my family on that one. And I appreciate you asking me that kind of question. And I'll record a video later. But I don't. Even if you call the airlines, I've known clients that ask airline people. I mean, they became a client after when there was a problem, but they ask like Southwest Airlines, or I'm not trying to say anything bad about any particular airline, but sometimes they try to give legal advice on accident and it's wrong advice. So just be mindful of that. I think I got through most of your questions. Fresh KYD truth seeker. Can I submit a green card application early since my asylum case been granted after 8 years? Does that mean it's still? Does that mean it's still like it just got approved or what? Because you really should file for your green card application after asylum been approved, the rule before was actually a great question. The rule before was that you can file, you had to wait 1 year and then file for 45. Sorry, folks, if you hear my stomach, I'm hungry now. It's been an hour, well, more than an hour. I really appreciate everyone's staying tuned. Just, if I don't get to your question, please give us a call. Click the screen and the hearts, the likes if you enjoy our content, sharing questions. But yeah, now the new policy rule about applying for residency after asylum approved or granted is that you can file it before the 1 year mark. You don't even have to wait 1 month. Okay, as long as you have the approval notice. And that's because they know for 45, based on asylee granted, approved, they're taking a hell of a long time. I don't know why. Like, it shouldn't take that long. I think, to be honest, part of it is because they try to vet your asylum claim again. Because some people, unfortunately, some lawyers, some non-lawyers try to use the same story for someone else. So that's why you really should be careful. That's why even like the waiver application, we ask clients to write their own letter. We give them guidelines. We, of course, make suggestions. But that is definitely the same thing for, less guidelines, actually, for someone who's telling their story for asylum. We don't give any guidelines in that sense because you got to tell the truth. Of course, we ask follow-up questions after. But anyway, that's probably the reason why asylum-based 45 is delayed a long time. Someone says you have dual citizenship here in Russia. You want to move back for a year soon, hopefully. Oh, back to Russia? Okay, good luck on that decision. Hopefully you don't have to pay as many taxes in Russia compared to America. Breeze, can a police officer try to deport you when they pull you over? Well, typically, the answer is no directly, but if you committed a offense, like a traffic offense where they could arrest you, where like in Texas, I think if you're speeding over 20 miles over the speed limit, they can arrest you. Maybe a different state is different, has different rules on that, laws. Or if you're drinking while under the influence, drinking while intoxicated, not literally drinking in the car, but like you're clearly like you're swerving or something, then that's arrestable in Texas, right? I'm sure in every state. So in that situation, eventually you'll get booked in a local police station, local jail, or the county jail. And then eventually you'll get transferred to ICE, Immigration Custom Enforcement, because maybe they've shared information between each other and say like, oh, this person's undocumented or no status, overstay visa, something like that. So that's the situation. But if it's like a regular traffic ticket, you shouldn't be transferred to ICE custody, okay? Yasmin, hopefully you heard my answer for Spacia. I think I answered her question. Don, and your N400 is still ongoing, or due to ongoing misdemeanor. What can you do? Probably the USCIS officer, if for some reason you have to interview sooner before your criminal case is pending, or before it's completed, they're probably going to delay a decision on that. I don't think they're going to end up. It may depend on the type of misdemeanor. You don't have to share here, but maybe they, maybe that will, maybe you're going to get delayed. So just keep that in mind. So you want to, I don't want to assume that you have a criminal lawyer, but for those that have a criminal offense that's still ongoing, like a charge pending in court, I really recommend you hire a private defense lawyer, criminal defense lawyer. Please don't rely on the public defenders. I get it if you don't have the funds, and I know a lot of them try to do good work, but they're just overwhelmed with cases, as you can imagine, especially post-pandemic. It was already a high caseload before the pandemic, but if you want someone who has got a fresher mind in that sense, because they're not overloaded with cases, then you just need someone on top of it in that situation. So yeah, anyway, they could advise your immigration lawyer or you on what to expect on the timing of this misdemeanor, or maybe try to get it reduced to some extent in general, like class A to class C, maybe class B. Just depends on the situation. Lisa W. Doing important work. Happy to help. Happy to help. How long is Elvis Goodell? How long is N400 taking an interview to be scheduled? One of my recent cases, I think we filed about 1 or 2 months ago, and he just got the interview notice 3 weeks ago, and his interview is the end of this month. I think July 31st, so in 1 week. So fairly quickly. But I mean, most of my cases in that sense of like a better data sample is Dallas and Houston, since I'm in Texas. But I mean, generally it's been pretty fast, but maybe not always 1 or 2 months. So hopefully it helps. Melissa, my office number, one of my office numbers, 720-740-4247. Again, number, if you're interested to just talk with us, see if we can help you, even if it's not helping with a full case, that's okay. Don't be shy, 720-740-4247, or please go to my website, greencardguys.com, and it'll have the information there as well. Okay. Sing, how long does it take 751? I would say because the auto extension is 48 months, that it's going to take at least 48 months, unfortunately. So, but we do have tips that I'll share later. Hard, can I go? You're going to your home country with guardianship, green card. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means something else. Jeanette, you received a letter saying your case was expedited 3 months ago. When should you expect an appointment? So that sounds like it was with NVC, National Visa Center. So I would, if it's consular processing, I would email the consular embassy to to let them know. Kindly let them know, because they don't have to give you an interview. They could delay. So always be kind. Pay it forward somehow. But yeah, I would just email us, let them know the facts. Like, hi, I was USCIS or NVC expedited. So expedited 3 months ago. Now, if you're telling me about USCIS expedited your petition and it got approved, expedited doesn't mean that you're going to get approved. It's not automatic approval. It's more about getting a decision. So if you got expedited with USCIS, that doesn't mean you'll get expedited for the visa interview. Those are two separate expedite request process. Okay. Gumani Te, how long does it usually take to get BIA decision? Ooh, at least a year, unfortunately. It's similar to 290B. There's not necessarily a processing timetable on this. Let me see. Let me switch over to YouTube. Emily, what is the risk for misrep fraud for someone that traveled to USA on a B1, B2 overstay and file AOS? It depends. Depends on the person's circumstances. Of course, we advise people, you cannot show intent to live here permanently, whether or not it's through marriage or not. Like, probably shouldn't bring a lot of luggages on your entry. Like, I've done a tour with customs in Dallas before, Dallas airport, and one of the red flags is literally something you can see, like a lot of luggages. Like, if you're traveling with a lot of more people, like I have 2 kids, we travel like 2 big luggages. Well, look, if you're bringing like 2 big luggages and 2 big boxes and you're by yourself, it's going to be a little strange, right? So, and also, even though there's not necessarily a black and white rule saying like, oh, you got to wait 3 months or so, we always advise to wait at least 3 months before filing based on marriage, so you can dispel any like magical issues of misrepresentation, right? So it's more about the intent, okay, at the time of entry. Okay, so hopefully that helps. It's very, very key on the timing there. Oh man, you guys have a lot of questions. I appreciate it. Can you get your papers without marrying someone in the USA? It is possible, but It's a lot easier, of course. I know, I get it. We're immigration problem solvers, so we like to share other examples on ways to get residency, papers, whatever you want to call it, legal status. It doesn't have to be through marriage, but ultimately, like even if you're here without status, you overstayed, and your company can sponsor you, but eventually you need to apply for a waiver because you've overstayed your visa. Um, but if you apply for a waiver, unfortunately, a qualified relative is not a company. It has to be a spouse or a parent who's a U.S. citizen or resident. And so, recently we've had newer clients because someone asked, or talked about like their parent just became a citizen or just became a resident, so now they can file for waiver. So maybe you've had a petition pending for so long, but now actually able to file a waiver after petition is approved, and that's great. So it depends on timing. Okay. Let's see here. Nance, can my brother fix my dad's papers if he has the Marines? Yes. This is called military parole in place. Military parole in place. So if your dad enter without inspection, enter without a visa, this is possible. Even if your brother ends up being in the reserve, that still counts. Yeah. So hopefully it helps. Okay. And assuming your brother is over 21 and a U.S. citizen now as well. Kai, can I live with my husband in the UK while you're processing a petition for him? U.S. citizen here. Yeah, the residence of the U.S. citizen does not matter. You can be abroad. We have some clients. Emily, not for you. I kind of figured that because I think your case is almost done, I believe. Someone said I skipped your question. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to it. Let me go back. Might have to repost it. Har? Is it Har? No, I think that's someone else because I don't see that your little logo. Christian, your wife. Yeah, Dennis Reyes. You're right. You don't have the presumption of fraud, of course. Christian, your wife, CR1 case has been document qualified since March. How much time for interview? Man, that's tough. It really, I don't know. It depends on the consulate or embassy. It depends on the post. It depends how many. We do help research how many visas are issued every month, depending on quote unquote the top posts. But it doesn't necessarily give a good indication of how long the case has been pending, or to know that for that situation. JJ Shampoo, do I recommend marrying someone in their country or filing K1? It doesn't even have to be in their country, actually. Utah County, JJ Shampoo, or anyone else is thinking about this and don't necessarily want to travel abroad, you want to save some money, you can get married at Utah County, Utah State. Okay. I think that's the only county that allows virtual marriage. And yeah, you can get it done. Okay. It doesn't, and you don't even have to be a resident in that state or county to get it, from what I've researched. And we've had some clients that have been approved based on that. But yeah, in general, I do recommend getting married, not K1. K1 used to be faster. That was before the pandemic. I-130, Harpreet. Okay. Someone had a semi-similar name. Harpreet, your parents, I-130 parents approved. They live in USA, came here illegally with an interview. What's next? So they need to be eligible for an exception. So one example I just mentioned earlier, if a family member is in the military, they can use military parole in place, or you have to apply for a waiver. That's a default, which is really the topic of the day, which has been over 90 minutes. Apparently, if the longer I stay on, the more people show up. But I'm getting tired, y'all. I need to go to my team meeting too. I need to eat some lunch. What y'all having for lunch? Do I ever get a case you suspect fraud? Oh yeah, absolutely. I had one. I remember like last year. I helped out with another family member or something. So we we helped out. We helped them out, and but in one of the first calls, I was like asking about evidence, and they didn't have it. So I was like, wait a second, that's just so strange. And they mentioned something about like the word roommates. So I was like, when you say roommate, that means you're not really like significant others. So we really do try to be cognizant of that and not accept. So I had to fire that client. Yeah, like on the spot. I was like, here's your money back. Can't help you anymore. Um, so yeah, I try to be as very succinct and precise in that sense. I don't want to mess around, because USCIS, officers, they really care. They pay attention. It's just like judges; they really pay attention to the quality of the private attorney's work and want to make sure that um, doing the right thing. Oh, that's what we try to do. Thanks, David Sharp, the legend. Nance, he says, what did I call it? Military parole in place, military PIP. In fact, I think if you call our CARES team, we have a free guide about it. So we're happy to help in that sense. Jess, should we marry on P1 visa in the U? I don't know if you mean P1 because P1's for something else. Okay, like entertainers, for example. Should we marry maybe met K1? You can marry in the US, but it can be done remotely. Oh, she meant B1. Okay, yeah. Good call. Good call. Thanks, legend. Appreciate it. Okay, folks. I think I got through most of the questions. Really appreciate it. By the way, folks, if you enjoy the way we share information, click the screen if you don't mind. TikTok, on Facebook and YouTube. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe, follow if you don't mind. We greatly appreciate it. And let your know if you have any friends, enemies, neighbors that need an immigration lawyer or question to ask. Please share our channel. Greatly appreciate it. All right, folks. Emily, one last thing you said, not for you. Agency told the person they can AOS via employment while pending asylum, which I'm telling them to be careful because pending asylum is not a status. Absolutely, I agree. The agency told them? What agency? That's interesting. Yeah. We have some clients like that. We advise clients that people always share that. Oh, I heard from so and so. I can AOS via employment, even though pending asylum. We advise that's very difficult. People say I've heard of that done in somewhere else in the country, but when comes push to shove, I ask like, oh, where is that? Where is that office, field office, or who is that person? They're like, oh, I couldn't get a hold of him anymore. So, but anyway, yeah, some people want to try, and we advise them, okay, we can try OS and try to use the limited case law on this situation about pending asylum. But at any point, the government USCIS could schedule an interview, so then this whole thing could go away. But otherwise, the default, other than that, if you can't AOS, then it's consular processing. But again, Emily, to your point, and to the point of today's topic is even if you go through employment based and you're here, overstayed your visa, you need to apply for a waiver. And the only way to be eligible for a 601A waiver is you have a spouse or parent who is a U.S. citizen or a resident. And so if you have a spouse who's a U.S. citizen, you're likely not going to go through employment based, right? I get that. But if you have a parent, maybe at the time it took a while for your parent to get status, so you already started the process through a company, and then by the time your parent finally got status, then that could be a reason why you had not filed through your parent. But even if a parent filed for you, the petition takes a long time. So, but they could still be you could be eligible through your parent as a qualifying relative. So that kind of give you an idea of the different scenarios. Okay. Where am I at, Nance? I am in Houston, Texas. Is the physical office. You're in California. welcome to come hang out here in Houston. There's a great food here. But we do allow consultations just like this on video. We use Dialpad. Some people use Zoom, but Dialpad helps if anyone's trying to figure out about tech video. Dialpad helps if you that does not require an app. They do have an app, but it does not require it. You can open up in a browser. So the legend, where are you living now? Can you share? Justin, can you apply for a cancellation removal if you have a child born in the U.S. and been staying here for 10 years? Yes, you can. The hardest part, really, other than that, is discretionary. It's about extreme hardship, or exceptionally and exceptionally and extremely unusual hardship. That's the phrase I use for the hardship. So if you don't have any residency, Nance, yeah, we can help clients, people in any state, any country, since we have a lot of tech in that sense for virtual. Lupin 601A has been at a standstill since 2019. Is it normal to take so long? Unfortunately, it's the new normal. It's I was sharing earlier that on USCIS processing times shows 44 months earlier today. Okay. Okay, the legend, you're in Chicago. Oh man. Sorry to hear that. Okay. Time to get a new one then, if possible. The 8x8, yeah, I've heard of that. JJ, do I think that you'll get approved if you have a child with a person living in a different country? Sometimes people ask that, and maybe you mean like, do you get like a stronger chance of approval? I mean, a child helps, but no one has to have a child to get approved in that sense. I mean, of course, I know you, but yeah, I mean, even if someone doesn't have children, people get approved. So hopefully that helps answer your question. But if you do have children together, you definitely want to share that. I think that, yeah, that is on the application. Anya, I-130 is about to get denied because of VAWA waiver. I knew nothing about it. Or AWA. I don't know what you mean by AWA. Family Unity Waiver. So if anyone doesn't know, 601A, the formal name of it is provisional waiver, family unity waiver. They have like two different names for some reason. So hopefully that helps. But folks, if y'all are suffering delays in your cases, we're happy. We do accept cases that we call it mandamus lawsuit. Okay. If you don't know for sure, you're just tired of waiting, but you're not sure if it meets the unreasonable time period for delays, don't worry. We have our own chart. We're happy to talk to you about it because we're not the type of law firm that would accept cases where we don't think it met that time period. Oh, the 8 Adam Walsh Act. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, these glasses, I have a friend that's a couple friends are optometrists, so they get some of the trendy fashion. It's like Japanese or something. It's very sturdy. Well, let's see. So I see more questions. Let's see here. You thought I might be from California by my accent. Maybe it's some things I say, like hella live a long time, maybe. Prometheus on YouTube. If you got a green card, how long can you stay in your country and you need to sell or try to have your house rented? 6 months out of a year, calendar year. It doesn't have to be 6 months consecutive. But if you think you're going to be outside for more than 6 months, Prometheus, you have to apply for a re-entry permit at 131. And you have to apply for that while you're inside the United States. Okay. All right. Hopefully that helps because you have to do biometrics. Back to Anya. I want to get back to you. You said the AWA. Let me go back to your original question. Yeah, it's hopefully you got an RFE on it, Anya. We've helped a couple several times on that. Sometimes a few times we're able to overcome it. Sometimes we weren't able to. So yeah, hopefully you got an RFE and maybe we can help or you can do it yourself. But yeah, other than that, I mean, if you haven't applied the waiver, then you would unfortunately need to refile. So if you have, I mean, if you already got a decision. Sani Saab, if someone has a baby with U.S. citizen that can get green card, again, baby is not required. I would definitely not. If some of y'all that have children know what I'm talking about, even if they're teenagers now or older, I would not have a baby just to get a green card. I do not recommend that. Okay. It's just a lot of stress. Wish all parents the best. Okay, Najim, parents visa stuck in admin processing AP more than 1 year. Okay, Najim, this is a situation you definitely should call us. Is definitely what we call like meets the unreasonable delay time period. So for folks that are waiting outside the U.S. in admin processing or something called 221G, you definitely want to call us 720-740-4247, and we can see if we can assist you. Okay. Nika 57, can you renew green card? You're not in the country. So technically they're ask for biometrics. You're supposed to get that done in the US, but if first you could try, maybe they'll reuse your prints from before. I don't know. There's not necessarily a rhyme or reason. Sometimes they reuse biometrics from a prior application. So you could try, and if you have someone you trust, even if they reuse your biometrics, hopefully you have someone that you trust that can mail your green card to you because you'll need it when you come back in. But I'm making an assumption that your green card would expire, but hopefully it did not. Okay. Oh, okay, Jess. A P1. Okay, he actually does have a P1. Okay. I can't remember your prior question, but something about getting married, I think. Nini, which two states have the most harsh immigration laws? Well, I mean, for one, Florida. But it's more about state law in that sense. And then Texas also has something back a long time, but I think 2018-ish, something called SB8. I'm sorry, SB4, that police are required to check and ask for immigration status. But I mean, when they had the congressional testimony, or not Congress, but Texas political testimony in the House, they didn't police, sheriff, they all showed up, and they don't want to ask for status for the most part, but the law passed. I know Arizona has something, but in general, those are Florida and Texas, I would say. You're welcome, JJ Shampoo. Can I re-enter after leaving had an order removal? It's possible, but you have to have everything completed, like the petition, waiver, permission to another I-212, 601. So have to get all that done as well. Anna Banana, like your name, your mom got EAD approved. Can she benefit from anything? She has disability. If you mean like state benefits, I'm not sure about that part. MSE, Misi won the DB lottery in the US, but out of status. Any way to adjust? Oh, that's a tough one because I'm not. Yeah, that's a tough one because I'm pretty sure you have to maintain your status if you're in the US. And then again, if you leave the US, then you have to be eligible for a waiver. Or otherwise, you're going to trigger the 10-year bar. Sounds like you've been here for more than 1 year. So again, you need a parent or a spouse who's a citizen or a resident. Let's see. Where am I? Can I help with K1? Jackie, I'm in Texas, Houston, Texas, but we do accept clients. We have consultations, client meetings by using dial pad. It's kind of like Zoom, like a video call. Some people are shy, so we just what do you call? Just talk on phone if you want, but we prefer video, just as if we were in person. Let's see. Phone number, Najim. Najim, if you're still on, number 720-740-4247. Nina, your question. Let me go back up. Nina, keep going back up. Okay. Nina, you said you're divorcing after 7 years marriage and he has citizenship and passport. Am I responsible for him? No, not anymore. I think you're talking about the affidavit support now that you're quote unquote off the hook because he already has citizenship. So that's good. That's not the only reason, but I think the other one's like 40 quarters of working or something. So that's good. Tanya, you just got DACA. I just got DACA and approval letter from the Visa Center. What's the next step after this? Oh, you're under DACA. What approval did you get? The petition? Sorry, I always have follow-up questions because I want to provide accurate information. Thanks, Nina. Appreciate it. Oh, that's a lot of roses. Appreciate it. So apparently on TikTok, y'all can send me stuff and apparently it turns into money. I need to ask my marketing team how that works out. But I really appreciate it. It's like taking me out to coffee. I really appreciate it because I'm now going on almost 2 hours. I need to go eat soon. Otherwise, I'm gonna pass out. But I really appreciate y'all joining live and asking questions. It means a lot to me. Really know it's a lot of people help out, even just to point you in the right direction. So, by the way, folks, it's a good time. If you're just now joining or I haven't shared this yet with you, you're welcome to go to our website. Go to greencardguys.com and just answer a few questions. This is if you want a consultation, strategy session. If you don't yet, you're a little shy. It's all good. Go to the bottom of our homepage. We do have a free guide, family-based options, investor option, employment options, whether you're the possible employee or the employer. And we have a lot more guides that are internal, not on our website. We didn't want to overwhelm everyone. User, you said your wife is Indonesian and you're gay. Who will get deported first? I'm not sure why you asked that way. Do you have a reason why you think you're going to get deported? I mean, do you have residency yet? I mean, fortunately, they don't ask about sexual preferences, but yeah, I mean, USCIS, that'd be interesting. I haven't heard of USCIS doing like sexual preference profiling, like if noticing if someone is LGBT or something. Plus, hopefully it doesn't get to that point. Sorry, I don't think I was able to answer your question. Zed, you just applied for citizenship for N400. How long is the wait? Depends on your field office, but usually the ones in Texas, it's been like a couple months from filing date, receipt date to interview, which is pretty fast. Can't say for where you are, probably. JR, do you accept criminal immigration cases? Yes, but it depends on the scenario, like on especially if we are familiar with that kind of crime or not, can give advice on it, on what to accept. But if it's a situation where you're you need advice on what to do and like consequences, immigration consequences to or pick it based on crimes, then we may need to refer out on that just because it takes a lot more time. KD, if you file I-130 and change your status. Okay, I got a team member to help me moderate. So for those folks that have been waiting for your question, it should be a little better. So I appreciate it. If you file I-130 and change status after, does that delay? I don't know if you're trying to click on your question. I don't know if it comes in longer. It seems like there's more to it. Delay the, oh, there it is, the little down arrow. Does it delay the process? What do you mean change status and change state after? Oh, where you live. Okay. No, it doesn't. You just need to go online, uscis.gov, or Google search AR11 USCIS, and it does have something that you can the change of address form. You can file online, but it doesn't necessarily make it slower or not. Let's see here. Do I do I-130? Yes, we do help with petitions. It depends, family preference, or is it based on immediate relative? If it's folks, we do, in general, we do have 3 membership service plans or membership plan. If it's based on family preference, then we generally recommend the light plan because it's such a long delay based on the visa bulletin. But in general, max plan is a file your case in 30 days, pro plan file your case in 60 days, or light plan file your case in 90 days, really just to help with the team expectations and whatnot. But we don't hold the case up like 90 full days. So like if you give us all the evidence and whatnot, we'll find a day in the week to get it reviewed, due diligence, and file it. Your green card renewal is still actively reviewed by USCIS since August 2022. Oh my goodness. So it's July 24. So one more week is will be a year for you, CLC. So I actually just had a consultation like this earlier today, CLC. So yeah, if you try to submit inquiry online, if you can, wait 30 days. If they still tell you background check or just something generic like that, then it's time to file a lawsuit. Okay, we're happy to help you, CLC. All right, my George, your VAWA case still pending after you sent the medical referral since 2 months ago. Let's see here. Oh, 1 second. I'm trying to grab something. Okay. So your VAWA case still pending after you sent the medical referral for I'm assuming for 485. Is that what you filed? Just in general, if anyone has a 485 application, yeah, I mean, we've been very fortunate. We've got approvals like within a week, sometimes in the next day. But yeah, they don't give a general timeline, unfortunately. Sorry about that. This for USS is not amazing about processing times. Okay. Okay, I thought it was done. You're welcome, Mr. George. I-130 approved, but your husband passed away. What can you do? Great question. My condolences to you, Zuri. It's great that you ask because there's a 2-year restriction, okay? 2-year restrictions for I-360, okay? So you need to file that with the death certificate, okay? So you can basically, quote unquote, take over on the I-60, 360 path. But also depends on the stage of the case. So, so contact us, okay, Zuri? We're familiar with this as well. 720-740-4247 is our phone number. Man, my voice is getting all raspy. In the event, Chin, in the event that a sibling files a petition and the other is in the U.S., can a sibling file AOS? No, unfortunately not, unless that beneficiary foreign national has maintained status, and typically they haven't. I haven't heard of anyone that's maintained status and lived here for so many years. That would be great, but if that's why what's it called? Roof is on fire. This is crazy. Use our service last year. Thanks for everything. You're welcome. That my team did. Can you message us? Because now I'm wondering who you are. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for, I guess as you're saying, it's crazy because you found us on TikTok. Yeah, I started this channel, I think, a year ago. maybe 2 years ago, but I didn't really use it more until like recently. So, but appreciate it. Yeah, kind of funny that you probably found us now randomly. Um, um, who Chin? Yeah. So yeah, you have to maintain status if it's family preference category, and if you haven't, then you got to be eligible for your sibling has to be eligible for a waiver, which again is the topic of today, basically. So, yeah, it's going to be strange. But you do need a spouse. That your sibling needs a spouse or parent who's a U.S. citizen or resident. Unfortunately, children and siblings do not count as qualifying relative. Kamal, sir, how long will it take for CR1 visa renewal for 10 years? Green card is already taking 20 months. I'm sorry to hear that. Visa renewal. I think you mean I-90. Did you file the I-90? Also, that was actually part of the consultation earlier today. We wanted to make sure when people say they filed the I-90, then if you're a conditional resident or not. Because if you're a conditional resident, then you need to file a 751 application, not the I-90. But if you're a permanent resident, then you file the I-90. But yeah, at this point, you want to file a mandamus lawsuit, okay? Assuming you filed the correct form. It's Mia. How long before can someone get a biometric appointment? After you file the application itself, usually takes about a month to 2 months in general. Yeah, a month or 2 months. So hopefully that helps. But if it takes a little longer, it's not abnormal. If it takes like 5 months, then that's a bit strange. Then maybe try to schedule something. Okay. Submit an inquiry. Hopefully that helps. On YouTube, you're welcome. Happy to share information. Happy to share tips. All right, folks. I think there's a couple more questions here. How long does a lawsuit take? Yeah, it takes about, so let's say we sue, okay, USCIS or the embassy or consulate. In general, roughly just an what do you call that? Overview, I guess. Broadly speaking here, I would say about 2 to 4 months after we sue the government. Because we're suing government agency, number one, step one is file a lawsuit. Step two is service. We have to mail it to them. Unfortunately, we can't just email. We have to go snail mail, USPS. We're not allowed to use FedEx or UPS, of course, because all our clients are willing to just get them served ASAP. But unfortunately, not. We have to use snail mail. Then so when we sue the government, U.S. agency, they're allowed 60 days to file an answer. Now, we don't actually care for them to file an answer, and they don't want to. The U.S. attorneys don't want to. They actually want to try to help in some ways because they're really trying to focus on cases like President Trump. They want to work on cases like white collar crime type stuff. Very, very serious. They don't want to work on mandamus cases. So to that extent, they want to help us. They want to help us get the decision, get the visa, get the RFE, whatever it is, get the interview. Okay, so hopefully that helps. 2 to 4 months on average. Depends on the type of application in general. Jessica, is it true that everything is backed up, or are there other ways to speed up? Yeah, the I-130. I'm sorry, I-130, I-765, and I-131 are eligible for expedited service. So hopefully that helps. Okay, what's the time frame for someone applying for a visa from Jamaica? Anyway, speed it up. It depends on the type of visa. It gotta be a little more specific. Okay. Your I-130 got approved, but they lost your medical. Ooh, sorry to hear that. Lost your medical for 45. How long do I get response from motion? Motion. Did you get denied? I hope you did not get denied. How long do I get a? You mean response for request for evidence? Hopefully, you already filed it, a new one, an updated one. And by the way, folks, if you haven't filed for, if you haven't filed yet, then you need to include the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay. David Sharp, if you're still on, it looks like you're on. I got your inquiry from. I got your phone call. One of our team members told me that you called in, so we'll be in touch. Appreciate it. Can I do a recap before you end my live? I'll try. Someone said I'm super fine. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that comment. Thank you so much. But I know I'm just assuming you're messing with me. You're about 4 months here in the U.S. Can I apply for a green card? Can I apply for a green card? You are on H-1B. Yeah, I mean, if your company is willing to sponsor you, it could have been day 2 on your H-1B. It doesn't necessarily have to wait a certain time period, but you want to keep in mind maybe it has to be a different position because you can't have more than 50% of experience based on the job requirements. Okay. Where am I located? We're located in Houston, Texas. We have a satellite office in Dallas, but to be honest, we rarely go there. Most people are fortunate, or very fortunate, that most people trust us, so we could just have a video call. But hey, if you don't mind coming down to Houston, come hang out. We'll go out to eat. There's really good food here. I just need to find a way to get out of the office and the house. Can I travel within the U.S. while your 601A is pending? Yes, absolutely. You can travel in the continental U.S. I recommend, or you can, but you want to make sure you don't go within 100 miles of a border. So that could be Canada or Mexico. Okay, you gotta be careful of those border checkpoints. I remember one of my older videos, like 2 years ago, I linked something on a comment that showed all the border checkpoints, and they were like live. It wasn't like old news, basically. But you want to avoid that situation because we've had a client that we represent because he was driving up like I-20 or something from Arizona to Texas, and unfortunately I-20 was blocked, so he had to go down south, and that was close. That was within 100 miles, so there was a border checkpoint. So yes, of course they're gonna check the status. Someone wants to move to Tokyo. That's cool, man. I want to go too. The food is great over there. Your advanced parole based on marriage approved. Can you travel to home country for 2 months? No, Noaga. It generally yes. It just depends. I would say no if you have any arrests or crimes. But if you're clean in that sense, then go ahead and go. Appreciate the heart. Is that Michelle? Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, so I see a lot more people have joined. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining live. We do offer free strategy session for 15 minutes. Okay, no cost to you for 15 minutes. Sometimes we go a little longer than that. It depends on the situation, but our CARES team member will call you within 24 hours after you answer a few questions on our website. It's just a few questions, maybe like 5 or so, something like that, really, so we can understand your case. And after you do that, you can actually schedule an appointment yourself online after you submit the form. So it's pretty amazing that our team has put together to make it a lot easier. So Jessica, any info about, I think you meant to type in I-601A. I may have mentioned this, you may have heard this earlier, but yeah, the only info I have right now is what I checked earlier, processing time schedule, and it was at 44 months average after filing. So it's taking a hell of a long time. So if you're in a situation where you filed it already and it's been at least 12 months, and you're wondering what the hell's going on, it's time to sue. Consider it. Sue USCIS, get that decision. And unfortunately, mandamus cases, we can't, like any case, any lawyer in general can't promise outcomes because that's against our ethics. But we usually have a pretty good idea. We can give you an idea. We can't promise though. Okay. User, let's see. So I don't know if that answers your question. Any info about 601A? User, good afternoon. You filed I-130 for your ex-wife's daughter. She was approved 5 months ago. Okay, great. Congratulations. Thanks for sharing your experience. 5 months, pretty good. Oh, okay. But I'm assuming the daughter's abroad now. Yeah, then you gotta do the next step. Consular processing. How long does it take to get a work permit? It just kind of depends. Are you applying based on a marriage case, immediate relative case? Then it could take 3 months. But if it's immediate relative case, usually these cases getting processed a lot faster for the green card. Okay, so you might get the green card before even the work permit. But if you just mean work permit by itself and no other application, then generally doesn't have that unless you're abroad already and apply for H-1B or something like that, or TNV. So if you're a Mexican or Canadian national. Kalissa Smith, how long for VAWA? Boy, it depends on who is the abuser or the perpetrator in that sense. But in general, VAWA takes definitely more than a year. They're definitely not being prioritized, which out of any cases, if I were working director of USCIS, yes, I know y'all married folks, you guys important too, but I would prioritize VAWA and U visa. But at the same time, U visa can't be processed that quickly because of the visa limitation. They only have 10,000 U visas every year, which is kind of crazy because there's a 5-year backlog. So it just goes to show how many people have been a victim of crime, unfortunately. Victim of crime doesn't have to be based on your family member, okay? How long does it take immigration to usually get your adjustment packet out? Oh, wait. Take to get the adjustment? So for us internally, if you pick our max plan, service plan, we file your case in 30 days. We really try our best. Our team gets bonuses based on this, okay? The pro plans, we file your case in 60 days. Light plan, file your case in 90 days. Now, of course, if you pick the light, that doesn't mean we pay less attention to your case. It's really just, oh, someone gave me a heart and finger. That's cool. Appreciate it. But I don't think you're talking about us. You're talking about the government. Well, they do receive it, but they don't process it that too quickly. If it's based on marriage, 2023 trend is that on average, based on our experience and our colleagues, it seems to be about 3 months processing. If you filed in 2023, if you filed last year, that's different. Okay, Cray, can you travel internationally while 751 is pending? I think I answered a similar question earlier. Yes, in general. Number one is your question is specific about pending. I would recommend getting the stamp, 551 stamp. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate the hand heart. Get the 512 or 551 stamp. 551 means you got the resident status, basically. But I believe I need to record a video separately about USCIS. They just changed the process to make it easier, apparently. Okay, TikToker, you sponsor your parents, and it's been 7 months. You haven't heard from anyone. Sponsor your parents. I'm assuming you're a U.S. citizen, and yeah, I mean, in general, it's marriage cases are being processed faster. So 7 months. I mean, if you're at 12 months, then that's a big cause for concern. Okay, hopefully that helps. Let's see. I got a lot of tabs open on my computer, so I realize. Okay. Did I get everyone? Hey, what's up, Enrique? You're new here. Welcome. Rustic Tank, because let's give y'all some priority. Let me pin this comment. Rustica, because you sent me some roses. Appreciate it. So anyone that sends us some roses, if this truly is money, then we're going to give y'all some priority here. Appreciate it. If I get spouse based on green card interview, when you're out of country on advance parole, if your spouse based on, can you rephrase your question a bit? If I get spouse, what do you mean? Are you stuck outside, or is this hypothetical? I'm a little confused about your question, but Maybe it's a hypothetical. Oh, hypothetically. Um, well, yeah, you can travel. If that's what you mean. Can you travel outside the U.S. with advanced parole? Yes, you can. Again, no arrest, no convictions, but then I recommend that you can travel. Okay. Do we handle cases that sponsor employer that employer sponsor and hire immigrants? Yes, absolutely. We're happy to help. Especially with employers at HR, whether they're big or small companies, many companies are not familiar with the immigration process. So we actually, as you could probably imagine, having these live shows and my recordings, we do have short videos, usually like 30 seconds to a minute, to share, answer common questions or common concerns. Joel M., you're a green card holder and you have a criminal record, but it was dismissed. Oh, you want to know if you can file. General rule is that if you got residency originally from a spouse, then it's a 3-year rule, meaning you have to wait 3 years for good moral character period. I really recommend waiting until the probation is completed and then count the 3 years to apply. So hopefully another thing, if it's not through marriage, if you got the green card through other means, then it's a 5-year rule. Okay. Now the other thing about your question, sometimes I answer questions have a lot of answers, even though it's one question. So dismissed. Dismiss is a tricky word in a sense, because some people sign a plea bargain and then eventually the case gets dismissed, but the best thing is straight dismissal. So, but yeah, wait that 5 years, whether it's straight dismissal from that date or the probation completed. Okay. But not all. If depends on your crime, though. Depends on your criminal history. You may not necessarily want to file it. Just depends if you're eligible. Okay, JB James, can you divorce your wife after green card due to abuse? If you got sounds like you already got a green card, or hypothetically, you can divorce your wife for any reason, okay, or no reason at all. Like in Texas, I think in all 50 states now, there's a ground of divorce called irreconcilable differences. So irreconcilable differences. Sorry, I try to speak so fast. So, but yeah, if you're ready to get your green card, if you haven't gotten your green card and you've been abused by your spouse, husband or wife, it doesn't have to be physical. Okay. It could be emotional, because emotional really affects a lot of people. It doesn't have to be just abuse. Someone's thinking about moving to Mexico. That's cool. I wish I could live anywhere else. Okay. Maria, we're located in Houston, Texas. We're happy to help folks who live anywhere in the world. Doesn't have to be in Texas. Ali B, how soon after marriage can one file to adjust status? Let's see here. I wait 90 days in general, because that really allows you to build up the evidence. We've had clients that get married after, not having to do about entry, but married, I think, in the 30 days after prior marriage. We really encourage them to wait, but yeah, they didn't want to wait. So be it. We can give our advice, but at the end of the day, people are going to do what they do. So, but yeah, I would wait some time so you can build up that marriage evidence of marriage anyway. Thanks for the rose. I appreciate it. Who's next? Let's see. Where's the pinned comment here? What's the best way to expedite your visa? Oh, that's $1 million question, Bishnu. Expedite a visa. My goodness. From what stage? It depends on the stage of your case. Okay. Is it petition or application or your consular processing? Excuse my dog. He likes to bark at people. Tries to be a tough guy. You guys have pets, by the way? Pet owners? It's KV. You submitted your AOS through marriage in 2022. Okay, last year. And set your medical exam 4 months ago. Still no answer. Yeah, unfortunately, if you filed it in 2022 and it's based on marriage, even though a 2023 trend is get approved now sooner than later, fairly quickly, like 3 months. That's not necessarily the case for you. So hopefully it doesn't take over 15 months. But if it's over 15 months, give us a call, okay? You can file mandamus possibly. Rushik Tank. What if green card en route take gets scheduled when you're out of country? Okay, I think that's what you meant to ask, maybe. Then you gotta fly back ASAP. I mean, you can reschedule it, but just the way it works, if there is a what do you call? If there's a reason why you need to reschedule, then I would provide that, mail it in. But the thing is, man, if you gotta reschedule, then it could take another month or two to get rescheduled. There's no time period that they have to follow to reschedule. Okay. More so are clients who were applying for N400 or did apply for N400 naturalization, become a U.S. citizen. That one was more common for us to help reschedule it, and that was like usually took 1 or 2 months after. But that depends on time, because maybe some of our clients are travelers, so they already have flights scheduled before the interview and oath is scheduled. Cynthia de la Torre. My husband submitted app to renew a green card I-90. It's been over 2 years. Man, Cynthia, we've been getting a lot of questions and concerns about this on I-90. I'm assuming that's what your husband filed, I-90. I just want to make sure, Cynthia, but did you file, was your husband a conditional resident or a permanent resident? If it's a conditional resident, or if he is a conditional resident, that's CR. So you have to file a 751 application. So that's something to consider, okay? But when people say renew green card, then I usually associate that with I-90. So if your husband is a conditional resident, then I-90 is the incorrect form. So hopefully you filed the correct one. But in general, it's been over 2 years, and assuming you file I-90, then we can file a mandamus lawsuit for that. 2 years is way too long. Okay. Ooh, folks, man, y'all have a lot of great questions. Yes, happy to help. Thank you for helping families stay together. Happy to help, KT. Trying my best here with our team. It's not just me. I'm just here sharing my knowledge in my head and sharing with y'all to help you prevent immigration problems on your case. And Trevor, you're just now joining. So this is the recap that someone else asked me. Okay. So why we shouldn't leave the U.S. and leave from U.S. It's this is assuming if someone's been staying in the U.S. for more than 180 days or 365 days, because that would trigger the unlawful presence bar or restriction. Someone said, have I seen the new Barbie movie? My daughter's a little over 4, so she hasn't quite asked me that yet. So I'm trying to hold off personally. Yeah, Trevor. So so I don't know if you're in a situation that this applies to, but yeah, anyone to overstay their visa or even entered without inspection, without a visa, will trigger that unlawful presence bar. So that's when someone leaves. Joy, can I study in college in the U.S. with your EAD? It doesn't prevent you from studying college in the U.S. I'm assuming you're, of course, foreign national, you have a work permit, but you're likely, unless your state has what you call like the in-state resident tuition, then you have to pay international tuition. So if you apply for residency, which I sort of see, I see your next comment. If you have AD and you're under the green card process, can you fly inside the U.S. like Hawaii? I thought I answered a question like that. I'm not too sure, honestly. I thought I knew the answer, but this is a very sensitive question. I don't want to share the wrong information, because I did go to Hawaii a couple of years ago, but I just can't remember if we had to go through customs or, there was a customs line for it. Okay. For that specifically. Hey, Badru, great to see you. I've been meaning to call you. Thanks for tuning on TikTok. Happy to help. So Badru is a client that we helped with a mandamus lawsuit to get his asylum interview for asylum. Unfortunately, he got approved. And Brian Manning was his asylum attorney. So thank you, Brian Manning. And so if anyone's looking for asylum attorney, please consider Brian Manning. Of course, do your due diligence like Badger did. And Badger, you ask, is it safe to travel on RTD? I think you mean, I think that's short for refugee travel document. Yeah, in general, it is safe. You just don't go, Roger, don't go to your country of nationality or the country that you claim fear, of course. Okay, so be careful on that. Shoot. Okay. Fabi. Sorry, I say shoot because I'm reading other comments. Fabi, interesting name. Do you know how long it'll take to sponsor parents after getting citizenship? So if you're over 21, I'm assuming, Fabi, and you got citizenship, I mean, generally it takes about a year and a half if you're abroad or if your parents are abroad. If your parents are here, then it could take about a year, but assuming they enter the visa, if they're here. Ruby, you got an RFE. How much longer 21-year-old daughter filed for you? So your 21-year-old U.S. citizen daughter filed for you, then, I mean, RFE usually if it's like an A64 on a RFE asking for a medical exam. I mean, some people on here have been telling me they've been 2 months, still haven't received anything. I don't know. I think we've just been fortunate, but usually we get a decision within a month on average, sometimes in a week or so. But for something like a 601 application, 601A, it's gonna take a longer time for RFE because it's just more documents. Like we just filed one the other day for 601 application RFE, and there's a lot more documents we provided in the letters from basically all family members. So it's going to take a long time for RFE response on that. Okay, folks, just want to give you all a little idea. I really appreciate everyone that's joined us live on all these different channels, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever your preference. We're on all of them. We're not getting on Threads though. Okay, I thought about it, but there's just too many social media platforms. Thank you so much. Okay. If you know someone who has an immigration question, whether they're a friend, colleague, enemy, neighbor, please share a channel with that person. And please follow us for more. Okay. If I was not able to answer your question today, please, you're welcome to give us a call. Okay. Here's a number, folks. Get your pen because I'm not allowed to type this on TikTok for some reason. 720-740-4247. We do have other numbers, so we might call you back on a different number. Sorry to be confusing. 720-740-4247. Trying not to sound like a telemarketer, but otherwise, if you're a little shy, it's okay. Go to our website, greencardguys.com, click on contact page, answer a couple questions, and it actually allows you to self-schedule an appointment on the next page after you click submit. Now, the thing is, even though we allow you to self-schedule, please don't be angry at us. Sometimes our CARES team members, specialists, will cancel the appointment because hopefully we're able to help you with a free guide. That's not specifically on the website. We do have some free guides on the website, but we don't have all of them on there. But hopefully I can guide you, point you in the right direction. Or maybe it's like an asylum case and we don't accept asylum cases anymore. So we'll refer you to other lawyers, right? So we're just trying to save you some time, folks. But again, we're happy to help point you in the right direction. I see 41 new messages. I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, I can't answer anymore. I need to go eat, then I need to go pick up the kiddo and then work on cases. So that's behind the scenes part of the day in life as a lawyer, immigration lawyer. So I see 6,000 likes on TikTok. I really appreciate it. It's been pretty cool. But we'll be back again live tomorrow. Okay. We try to do this every day, usually for 30 minutes, not for 2 hours. Okay. So thank you so much. And